I don't normally do car reviews where I don't know what the car is, but this is a mystery review. Ford invited us out to Las Vegas ahead of the SEMA show, and tomorrow Ford told us that we are going to see something really cool that we don't want to miss that's 50 years in the making. But they wouldn't tell us what it was. So I have some guesses. 50 years ago, Ford Talladega won Daytona in NASCAR, so I don't know. I don't think they're bringing back the Talladega. Dan Gurney won Le Mans in a GT, but there hasn't really been any GT news this year. Also, Rod Hall won the Baja 1000 in a Bronco, and we are waiting for Bronco news, so I'm hoping that we're going to see some kind of super cool off-road Rod Hall Bronco tomorrow, and you'll find out when I do.
Welcome everybody, thank you for joining us out here in the desert, and I'm sure you're still wondering, why are we out here in the desert?
I was right, I feel super smart. Did you see that? That is a modified production Ford Bronco, kind of. I mean, all right, it's very modified, but it's a little bit production, and they're gonna race it in Baja, just like they did in 1969. Who's good at their 50-year history? This girl. There's been a lot of buzz about Ford bringing back the Bronco. People just really like that little truck, although I guess when they finally stopped making it in whatever that was, 96, it was kind of a big truck. But we haven't really known what it's gonna look like, and we still don't know exactly, but we have a few more ideas because this race truck kind of has the shape that they say they're going to be using. I think the front end is absolutely going to look like that on the production truck, and it is the production truck frame, engine, and transmission, so you can get a good idea of what it might sound like, and if you crawl under the truck you can see what it's going to look like, which is basically what a Ranger looks like, because I think they share an architecture underneath. All right, let me give you a little bit of Baja history. First of all, if you aren't a Californian or an off-roader, you might not even know where or what Baja is. It's a peninsula that comes off the bottom of California and runs alongside mainland Mexico. And it has been a scene for testing motorcycles and cars since the early 60s. People would just go down there and try and run against a clock and see how quickly they could make it all the way down the peninsula, which is about 1,000 miles. And all those time trials eventually led to an organized race called the Mexican 1000, which started in the late 60s, and that turned into the Baja 1000, which is still run today, and I would say is the biggest, most important off-road race in the world. I'm gonna say that, I believe it. In 1969, Rod Hall won the overall Baja 1000 in a Bronco. In that Bronco. And like, when I say he won the overall, I don't mean, oh, he won the 4x4 class or he won the truck class. He won everything. He beat the motorcyclists, he beat the cars, he beat the sand rails, everything. That was a big deal. And then Rod went on to have a career where I think at one point he won some 30 times in a row. Like, the dude was serious. So it's really cool to see his truck, and his granddaughter, Shelby Hall, is here. She's a racer as well. And then Ford is here saying they're gonna run Baja again with a Bronco that is paying tribute to Rod Hall, who died this year. So I think that is very cool of Ford as well. You know, they're recognizing their history and they're recognizing the people who made them important. All right, so even though this new Bronco looks pretty Bronco-y, you're gonna notice that it isn't exactly what you'd expect to see driving around like in your neighborhood or what you would take to pick up your kids. So if you're imagining what the production one's gonna look like, bring those wheels in and make them a lot smaller. It probably also won't have quite so much flair on the wheel wells, but that overall shape that it has, like kind of straight up and down windshield, I mean, if it had a windshield, race truck, that was probably what we're going to see in the production truck as well. And there are a couple of other little details around it. Like, I noticed where the taillight housings would be, to me looks like, oh, that kind of looks like if it had lights in it, it could be a production piece. So maybe the back isn't totally different from what we're going to see either. I definitely think we're going to see that grille with the big Bronco in the front instead of Ford, which I think is cool. You know, I mean, they're really into this as a brand identity. So Ford said that we can get a ride in the new Bronco race truck and also in the original 1969 truck that Rod Hall won the Baja 1000 with. So I am very stoked about that, and I can't wait to see what it's all about. Okay, so Ford won't tell us what engine is in this race truck, although they did say it is the same engine and transmission as is going to be in the production one. One thing we do know is that it's a 10-speed automatic, so probably the same transmission we've been seeing in a lot of Ford products. But I mean, I've liked it when I've driven it. They're racing in Class 2 in Baja, which is one down from like the big trophy trucks. And so we know this isn't a V8. We know this is an EcoBoost. It's just which size is it? It would be super cool if the Bronco gets the Raptor's 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6. But it's probably more likely that it's going to be the 2.7-liter V6 EcoBoost. I can't tell from the sound. Maybe you can? I don't know. Leave your guesses in the comments. We'll see who's right. So we still don't have a great idea of what we're going to see when Ford releases the new Bronco in the spring, but we have a little bit of a closer look. I think it's going to be something like that, you know, boxy, small, rugged looking. I think that fans of the original Bronco are really going to like it.